Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hit the like button, share your thoughts, subscribe, and tap the bell icon. The cold room. She woke up shivering, her back pressed against something wet and freezing. The first thing she noticed was the smell, sharp, metallic, and old, like rust and rot had settled into her nose. She reached up to touch her face, but her hands were bound tightly. Tape, thick, sticky, wrapped around her wrists, her ankles, and got her mouth too. She couldn't scream, she could barely breathe. Her heart hammered like it wanted out of her chest. Everything around her was pitch black, except for a faint blue flicker coming from the corner of the room, a broken overhead light that buzzed once every few seconds, before dying again. She was in some kind of basement, she thought. Stone walls, no windows, and cold, unnaturally cold. There was a hum coming from above her, maybe a freezer unit or some sort of machine. Then she heard the humming change. It was no machine. It was a voice, a low, tuneless hum, like someone singing to themselves. Calm, methodical, getting closer. Her pulse spiked. She began to wriggle, slowly at first, trying to test how tight the tape was, how much give there was around her ankles. Her breathing turned ragged. Tears blurred her vision. Then came the voice. Male, calm, almost amused. "You're awake," it said gently, like they were old friends. "Good, that means it's starting." Starting. She froze, her body trembling so hard it felt like she was convulsing. Footsteps approached slowly, each one deliberate. Then came the sound of something being dragged. Metal on concrete. A chair. The humming stopped. "You probably don't remember me yet," the man said softly. "That's okay, you will." Then, he flipped on the overhead light. Pain stabbed her eyes. She blinked rapidly, her pupils shrinking. And then she saw him. He was wearing a butcher's apron, red, but it wasn't originally red. The fabric underneath was pale and blood-soaked. His hands were gloved, his face calm and clean-shaven. His eyes, however, were wrong. They looked hollow, like something was missing behind them. He set a tape recorder down on the floor and pressed play. "This is for your own good, Emma. You have to remember what you did." Her name. How did he know her name? He crouched beside her. His face was inches from hers. She wanted to scream, but all she could do was sob behind the tape gag. Her throat burned with silent terror. Then, slowly, he reached behind her and cut the tape around her mouth. "Now," he said gently. "Say it." "Say what?" she whispered hoarsely. He smiled. "Why you killed them." "I didn't kill anyone." His eyes flickered. Not with anger, with disappointment. "Not yet," he said, "but you will." 12 hours earlier, Emma had arrived at the cabin to escape. It was her older sister's idea. "You need time off," Melissa had said. "After what happened, after Mom." Emma didn't want to talk about their mother's death. Not anymore. It had been 2 months, but the grief hadn't faded. It had grown teeth. Sharp, gnawing teeth that chewed away at her sleep, her appetite, and her memory. She'd started hearing whispers at night. She'd find things moved in her apartment. Drawers opened, lights flickering. Sometimes, the mirror fogged up with handprints even when the water hadn't run. Maybe the cabin in the woods would help. Maybe she'd finally be alone with her thoughts, without something scratching at the edge of her sanity. She should have known better. The first night was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no wind, no crickets. Just the ticking of the old grandfather clock inside. The cabin's narrow hallway. She unpacked lightly, just a duffel bag and a few groceries. There was no Wi-Fi, no phone signal, no TV, just books and silence. And the old bedroom where their mother used to sleep whenever they visited years ago. It still smelled like her. Lavender and something older, like cedar or ashes. That night, Emma had a dream. She was sitting at the edge of a frozen lake. Her mother was standing on the ice, smiling, calling to her. "Come home, sweetheart." Emma stepped forward. Then the ice cracked, and she sank. When she jolted awake, it was freezing in the cabin. Her breath hung in the air. She checked the thermostat. Broken. Then, on the window, a handprint. On the inside, she packed her things and tried to leave. The car wouldn't start. She tried to call her sister. No signal, nothing. She walked down the gravel road, desperate to reach the nearest gas station, but every turn led back to the cabin. She was trapped in a loop, like the woods were shifting behind her. By nightfall, she wasn't alone. There was a scratching in the walls, whispering in the vents, and the humming started soft male, the same tune she'd heard once as a child. The one their mother said came from the man in the walls. The same one their mother said she banished years ago, with blood. Back to the basement. Present time, you're remembering now, aren't you? The man said, standing again. Emma whimpered, shaking her head violently. No, please, I didn't. Oh, but you did. He leaned in again. You let her die. You brought her ashes here. You broke the seal. His hand moved to the table. Behind him, a rusty hammer, a mirror, a small wooden box. Familiar. Her mother's box. You should have burned it, he said. But you opened it. And now, she's coming through. Suddenly, the mirror behind him cracked. A faint whisper echoed around the room. Emma. The lights flickered violently. He turned to the mirror. Not yet, he whispered to it. She's not ready. Then he turned back to Emma and smiled. We've got time. Bang. The door to the basement slammed shut above them. Heavy bolts sliding. Emma screamed. The man laughed. Then, calmly, he picked up the tape recorder again and pressed play. You killed her. You killed her. You killed her. It looped endlessly as the room grew colder and the mirror began to bleed from its cracks. Emma finally remembered that night. The ritual. The lie she told her sister. The truth buried with her mother's urn. She didn't just come here to grieve. She came here to hide. Something the dead hadn't forgotten, and they were finally ready to make her remember. The ritual. The cold from the basement floor was spreading into her bones. Emma's teeth chattered, but not just from the temperature. It was the memory that returned piece by piece. Jagged and sharp. The man in the blood-stained apron stood still now, just watching her. His head tilted slightly, like he was listening to something no one else could hear. Then he whispered again. She's almost through. Emma's wrists burned from the tape, but she didn't struggle anymore. There was something worse than him in that room, something behind the mirror, the thing inside the cracks, something she had seen before, or tried to forget. I don't know what you're talking about, she croaked. The man didn't respond right away. He simply walked toward the wooden box on the table, the one that once belonged to her mother. Its carvings were faint now, but still visible. Symbols she remembered tracing with her fingers as a child. Circles within circles, a vertical eye. In the center, she'd asked her mother what it meant once. Her mother had just smiled. It's protection, Em, for us, for you. He opened the box slowly. Inside was a handful of ashes, a tiny bone wrapped in black string, and a piece of stained paper. Emma's breath hitched. She knew that paper. She had seen it the night her mother died. The night her mother, her stomach, lurched. The ritual. 1 month ago, the night of her mother's death, had been raining heavily. Emma had arrived late after avoiding her mother's calls for weeks. Melissa had already left, too angry after the last fight. That left Emma alone with a dying woman in a creaky house full of silence and locked drawers. Her mother looked small in bed, thinner than she remembered, but her voice was sharp. It has to be you, she had said, handing Emma the carved wooden box. Emma hesitated. What is this? Her mother's eyes darted around the room like they were being watched. I bound it, she whispered, but it's getting out. You have to finish what I started. Mom, I don't. Her mother grabbed her hand with surprising strength. You have to seal it in the mirror. Don't open the box until the moon is high. Don't speak the name. And don't let the mirror break. She was delirious. Emma thought it was just morphine and dementia. She nodded just to calm her. That night, while her mother slept, the mirror in the hallway cracked on its own, and her mother screamed by the time Emma reached her. The old woman was gone, mouth open, eyes wide in terror. Her nails bloodied from scratching the mattress, and the box was open. Back to the basement. Present. The man held up the black string-wrapped bone. You let her die, and you didn't finish it, he said. Now she's here, but not in the way you remember. Emma shook her head violently. No, that's not what happened. She needed your help, and you ignored the signs. The mirror cracked deeper behind him. A thin stream of black smoke slithered out and curled through the air like a searching hand. I tried to burn it, Emma whispered. After she died, I took the box to the lake and burned it. But you didn't burn everything, he snapped. You brought the ashes back. You scattered them here, in the cabin. Emma felt dizzy. The air around her was thickening. Each breath tasted like mold and iron. You should have destroyed the mirror too. I didn't know, she cried out. No one told me what she'd done. The man turned and pointed to the box. She didn't bind a spirit, Emma. She trapped herself. Your mother died during the ritual, but her soul didn't pass. It fractured into the glass, into the house, into you. Emma's vision blurred as the walls began to hum. A low vibration built in her ears, and the mirror began to fog. A shape, faint but human, moved behind the glass dot. Then came the whispers. Dozens of voices, all saying one thing: "You let me die." He walked over and began cutting her free, slowly, like he didn't care if she ran. "Why are you helping me?" she asked through shallow breaths. "I'm not," he said. "I'm helping her. She wants you to remember. She wants you to see." He dropped the blade near her and stepped away. The door above them rattled. Someone or something was pacing upstairs now, heavy, dragging footsteps. No words, just movement. Emma didn't wait. She grabbed the knife and pulled the rest of the tape off, tearing skin in the process. She bolted toward the basement stairs, but the man didn't follow. He just smiled and pressed play on the recorder again. "This is for your own good, Emma. You have to remember." Upstairs the cabin looked wrong. The windows were boarded shut, not like before. Dust choked the air. The hallway was lined with old pictures, ones Emma had never seen before. In them, she was a child, with her mother, with Melissa, but her face was scratched out in every photo. "No," she whispered. The bedroom door creaked open on its own. Emma turned slowly. Inside, the air was ice cold again. Her mother's bed was untouched, as if she had just left it. But the mirror was the same one from the basement, uncracked now. "Hold." She approached it cautiously. "Don't let the mirror break." Her mother's words echoed in her mind. She stared into the glass. For a moment, it showed her reflection, pale, terrified, tear-streaked. Then it changed. Her reflection tilted its head and smiled. Emma stepped back. The reflection didn't. Single quotes, "I didn't." Then it walked toward her, inside the mirror, until its face pressed against the glass from the other side. "You let me die." The mirror cracked violently, splitting straight down the middle. Emma screamed and turned to run, but the bedroom door slammed shut behind her. Something in the room laughed, a dry, croaking sound, like a woman choking on dust. The bedsheets flew into the air. The lights shattered. And on the walls, words began etching themselves in blood. "Seal it or bleed." Emma collapsed to her knees, holding her ears, sobbing. "I don't know how," she cried. "Tell me what to do." The laughter stopped. Then, silence. One word appeared slowly on the mirror's surface. "Downstairs." Back to the basement Emma ran. The man was gone. The box still sat on the table, but the air was different now, still heavy, like being inside a coffin. Emma opened the box again. The bone, the paper, the ashes. She looked at the stained ritual page. The ink had bled, but one symbol was still visible. The vertical eye. Her mother had always drawn it on her wrist when Emma was sick. Protection. Now she understood. Emma took the bone and cut a line across her palm. Blood spilled onto the page. The mirror pulsed. Then the voice came again. "Finish it." Emma stepped to the mirror. She began drawing the symbol on its surface with her own blood, copying what she remembered from the page. Her hand shook violently. A scream ripped through the air from inside the mirror. The glass boiled. Steam hissed. Faces twisted behind the surface. Emma completed the symbol. The mirror exploded outward, sending glass shards into her arms, her face. She screamed in pain, but then silence. The humming stopped. The cold began to fade. The box burned on its own. No fire, no match, just black flames curling it into ash. And in the quiet that followed, a single photo fell from the ceiling. Emma picked it up. It was her mother, holding her, smiling. "Hold on the back in her mother's handwriting. "You saved me." But just as Emma began to breathe again, she turned. The man was standing behind her, still smiling, except this time, his eyes were hollow, and in his voice something else spoke. "You sealed her soul, but you forgot who broke the mirror." The first time the basement door slammed shut again. Darkness swallowed the room. The basement fell completely silent, not the natural kind of silence. No creaks, no wind, no breathing. Emma stood frozen in the dark. The man who'd been helping her, or pretending to, now stood just feet away. His grin unnatural, his eyes emptied out like two inkwells, black and swallowing. The glass from the mirror crunched under her shoes as she stepped back, instinct guiding her legs. Then he spoke again, but it was not his voice anymore. "You sealed her soul, but you forgot who broke the mirror the first time." Emma felt her stomach turn. "What are you?" she whispered, his head tilted, just like her reflection had done. The thing inside him giggled, like a child playing dress-up with human skin. "I'm the reason she begged you to never say the name," it said. "I'm the voice," she smothered. The scream she buried in salt and silence. He stepped forward, slow and deliberate. With each step, the basement seemed to shrink. Emma turned and ran up the stairs, but the door at the top wouldn't budge. It was locked tight now. She pounded on it with her fists, screamed for help, but her voice was swallowed by something thicker than the air. The dark had a weight to it. Something lived in it. She turned again. The man wasn't moving anymore, just watching, still smiling. And then, as if someone flipped a switch, he collapsed like a puppet cut from its strings. Emma crept back, down, blade still gripped tight in her hand, arms shaking. He was breathing barely, and when his eyes fluttered open, the black was gone. Just human again, scared, tired. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't know it could still get out." Emma knelt beside him. "What was it?" He choked on blood before answering. "They call it the breaker. It's not just a spirit. It's what happens when a soul fractures too many times. When someone dies wrong, over and over." She swallowed hard. "You mean like my mom?" "No," he said. "Worse." Emma looked around. The shattered mirror was gone. Literally, there was nothing on the wall now. No shards, no blood, no reflection, like it had never existed at all. Then she noticed something carved into the stone floor beneath, where it had hung. A name, but not her mother's. It was one word, jagged, deep, written in characters that made her eyes water to look at. Unariwe. She blinked. The name pulsed. And just for a second, something whispered behind her eyes. "Say it." Emma stumbled back. "No, I'm not stupid." The man coughed again, reaching toward her. "Don't speak it. That's how it moves. That's how it spreads." Emma helped him sit up. "You said it could get out." He nodded weakly. "When your mother bound it, she sealed its voice. But when you let the mirror crack the first time, even just a hairline, it started calling again. It's been inside this house, inside you." Her blood ran cold. "Then why bring me here?" "Because your mother left only one way to kill it. Not banish, not bind, destroy, but only you can." Emma looked around the room. There was nothing left. No candles, no pages, no bones, just dust, blood, and her fear. She gritted her teeth. "Then tell me how." Later that night Emma searched the house again, but things had shifted. Time didn't work the same. Rooms led to different places. Doors that once opened to closets now opened to impossible hallways. Some went nowhere, some looped. She saw versions of her mother. Some were real memories. Her brushing Emma's hair, singing lullabies. Others were wrong. Her mother with no eyes. Her mother crawling backward. Her mother scratching her own throat raw while whispering that name Naraya over and over. And then she saw herself, a little girl, sitting in a corner, humming, rocking. Emma crept toward her. "Hello." The child stopped humming, then lifted her head. The face was Emma's, but twisted, older than a child should be, eyes too deep. "She's in the attic," the child said. Emma swallowed. "Who?" "The one who watched your mother die. The one who broke the mirror first." The girl tilted her head. "You." The Atakima climbed the ladder with trembling limbs. The air grew thick, almost syrupy. With every step up, her chest felt heavier. At the top, the attic was filled with old furniture under sheets. Moonlight filtered through the slats in the wood, and in the center of the room, a mirror, perfectly intact. She approached it slowly. This one wasn't cracked. It was ancient, with vines carved into the frame and a symbol at the top, the vertical eye. Again, her reflection stared back, but something was off. Emma leaned in. The reflection didn't blink. It smiled. Then it whispered, "You said the name in your sleep." Emma backed away. The voice behind the glass laughed. "You were 9. Your mother caught you. She told you it was just a dream, but it wasn't." The attic door slammed shut behind her. Her reflection stepped forward inside the mirror. Now, a figure with her shape but no features, just shadows and eyes. "You were the first fracture," it said. Emma dropped to her knees. Her head spun. Her memory spiraled inward. The nightmares, the voice in her head that whispered to her at night, the urge to look into mirrors, and the fear of what she'd see. "I let her out," Emma said quietly. The mirror hissed. "No, Emma, you are her." Flashback, the real night her mother died. It wasn't the mirror cracking on its own. It wasn't her mother screaming from pain. It was Emma, in the hallway, a piece of porcelain in her hand, a memory returning now, her mother begging her not to say the name, trying to burn the box, not to protect Emma, but to stop her. But the child inside her didn't listen. The voice inside Emma whispered too sweetly, promised secrets, promised belonging, and so she whispered it, Narration, and the mirror broke, and her mother died, trying to seal it back. Naima stood before the mirror. She saw herself again, but now, she knew, the cracks weren't in the glass, they were in her. She had been born carrying something that didn't belong in this world, something that waited for grief, for rage, for a moment to escape, and now, it wanted to finish what it started. But Emma did something her reflection didn't expect. She took the blade, the same one from the basement, and she stabbed her own palm. Again, blood dripped onto the attic floor. She began drawing the eye symbol once more, slowly, deliberately, onto the mirror's surface. You bound my mother, she whispered. But you won't have me, the thing behind the glass screamed. The mirror cracked, not from the outside, but from within. The attic shook, furniture flew into the air, the walls wept blood. But Emma kept going. I see you now, I remember, and I say your name not with fear, but to end you, she screamed it, Narration. The mirror exploded inward. The attic floor gave way. Emma fell into blackness. She awoke in the forest, naked, bleeding, alone. The cabin was gone. The mirror was gone. Everything was quiet, and in her hand, the vertical eye symbol had been burned into her skin. A voice, faint and fading, echoed in her ears. You sealed it. But never forget, mirrors remember. Emma looked into the pond beside her. Just her reflection. For now, what the mirrors saw 2 weeks later. Emma hadn't spoken to anyone since the forest. She stayed in a rundown motel on the edge of nowhere. The kind of place where no one asked questions, and the wallpaper peeled like sunburnt skin. Every mirror in the room had been removed. She'd taken care of that on the first night, dragging the heavy dresser in front of the bathroom mirror, cracking the vanity glass in the bedroom, covering every reflective surface with old bedsheets. Still, sometimes, she saw her reflection, in puddles, in the window, in her dreams. And sometimes it didn't look like her at all. The symbol burned into her palm. The vertical eye never faded. Sometimes it pulsed under her skin like it was alive. Other times it glowed faintly in the dark. Emma tried to live, as if she were normal again, but she wasn't. She couldn't sleep more than a few hours. Her dreams always ended in blood, and every time she blinked too long, she saw her again. Narration. One night, the motel phone rang. Emma didn't move. It rang again, a shrill, ugly sound. She picked up. No one spoke, just a breath, then a voice, soft, female, trembling. It's happening again. Emma sat up straight. Who is this? The voice cracked. I know who you are. I saw the eye. I have one too. Emma's blood ran cold. Where she whispered. The voice answered. In my mirror. Then the line went dead. The next day, Emma drove 8 hours to a dusty town called Pine Hollow. No GPS, no music, just silence and static. And the sick feeling in her gut growing heavier with every mile. The address led her to an old farmhouse, wrapped in fog and time. A girl, maybe 19, met her at the door. Her name was June. She had the same symbol burned into her palm, and the same fear in her eyes. Inside the house, the mirrors were covered, all except one, a tall, antique, standing mirror in the attic. I tried to throw it away, June whispered. I even smashed it once, but it grew back. Emma looked at the mirror. The frame was covered in the same vine pattern. The vertical eye etched at the top. It wasn't just similar, it was exactly like the one from Emma's attic. June spoke again. It started after my sister died. I saw her in the glass. She called my name. Emma nodded slowly. I think she's using grief, pain. That's how she spreads. June nodded. I don't dream anymore. I just watch, and she watches me. Emma turned to her. Do you trust me? June hesitated. I'm not sure. Good, Emma said, because you shouldn't. That night, they slept in shifts, or tried to. Emma watched the attic door. June watched the mirror. At 3:11 a.m., the mirror whispered. Not in words, but in images. Emma saw herself reflected in the surface, standing behind June with a knife. She blinked. It was gone. June stood. Did you see that? She whispered. Emma nodded. It's testing us, twisting what we see. June's eyes welled with tears. I don't want to die here. Emma stood. Then we fight. They tried salt. It didn't work. They tried binding spells. The mirror cracked, but healed within seconds. They tried blood again, but this time, the eye symbol refused to burn. It's stronger now, Emma said. It doesn't want sealing. June looked at her, trembling. Then what does it want? Emma paused, then whispered, a body. Later. That night, June disappeared. Emma found a trail of blood leading up to the attic. The mirror was glowing. June stood before it, still, silent. Emma rushed in. June didn't turn. Her eyes were wide, and her mouth hung open as if something had reached into her and grabbed everything inside. Then the mirror shifted. A second June appeared in the glass, smiling. Emma screamed, but June's body collapsed to the floor. The June in the mirror pressed her hand against the inside of the glass. Blood ran down the surface, and the voice whispered, loud and clear now, I don't want a body. I want all of them. Emma ran out of the attic, through the hallway, down the stairs, out of the house. She didn't stop driving until she reached the next state. Her phone buzzed with a voicemail. June's number. Shaking, she played it. It's not just one mirror, it's everywhere. Every time someone dies with grief, guilt, betrayal, it makes a new shard, a new window. She's not in the mirrors. The mirrors are in her. Then, she's coming for you, Emma. At a gas station, Emma caught her reflection in the bathroom sink. It blinked. She didn't. Then it smiled, slowly, creepily, like it was enjoying her unraveling. Then the mirror cracked, just a thin hairline fracture across the surface. A reminder, Narration was never sealed, only buried, and Emma was still carrying the key. Flashback. Emma remembered something her mother once said. Years ago, when Emma was 5, you can't run from a curse, baby, but you can walk toward it and burn it where it lives. Emma now understood. This wasn't about mirrors anymore. This was about memory, blood, legacy. If Narration spread through trauma, through haunted deaths, then maybe the way to end her wasn't through spells or symbols. Maybe it was through the first death, the first betrayal. Emma returned to the old house, not the farmhouse, her childhood home, the one her mother died in. Everything was still standing untouched, as if time skipped it. She walked into the attic. The shards of the original mirror were still there, buried beneath the floorboards, still humming, still alive. Emma sat down, and for the first time, she didn't hide from the whispers. She invited them. Come out, she said. No more games. The attic darkened. A shape formed in the mirror's remains. Her mother, or what was left of her, eyes stitched shut, mouth opened too wide. She spoke without sound. Emma whispered, you tried to stop her, but I let her out. Her mother nodded, and for the first time, wept. Emma took a shard of the broken mirror, pressed it against her chest. She was ready, but then a whisper. Not from Narration. There's another way. Her mother's voice soft, real. Emma paused. I'm listening. The attic flickered and then revealed an image. A locked trunk. The same one her mother had tried to burn. Emma opened the hidden floorboard. It was still there. She pulled it out, opened it. Inside, bones, ribbons, a single journal. She flipped it open. Her name was my sister. I betrayed her. I sealed her in glass. She begged me not to, but I was scared. She died screaming. I used her pain to protect Emma. Emma froze. It wasn't just a ghost, it was family. And the final page read, she can't be killed, but she can be given peace. To do that, someone must willingly take her place. Emma closed her eyes, then spoke to the mirror. I'm sorry. The attic whispered back. The broken glass shimmered. A choice formed in front of her. Two images, her mother reaching out, begging, and Narration weeping. Emma stepped forward, but just before she touched the glass, she paused. No, she whispered. Not yet. And she turned away. She would not become another prisoner. Not until she knew the full truth. Not until she learned who else carried this curse. Not until she broke every mirror. Shards of her 3 days later. Emma was living out of her car, chasing rumors. Burn marks on strangers' palms. Sudden disappearances after mirror sightings. Hospitals reporting mass hallucinations in rooms with large reflective glass. She followed them all, and everywhere she went, the same thing echoed back. I saw her in the mirror, and then I saw myself die. Emma wasn't just running anymore, she was hunting. In a small Louisiana town, A teenager named Caleb had been hospitalized after reportedly clawing out his own eyes. The reason, he said, a woman in the mirror whispered that he wasn't real, that his reflection had replaced him. Weeks ago, Emma visited the hospital posing as a relative. The nurse barely looked up. Caleb's room had no windows. The mirror had been smashed, but shards remained scattered beneath his bed. Emma bent down, careful not to touch them. One of the shards twitched. "Who are you?" a voice whispered from the mirror sliver. "Not Caleb's. Narrator's." Emma stood slowly. "You know who I am." The shard pulsed. "He saw too much." Emma whispered. "Then why not kill him?" The mirror shard showed Caleb in his bed, twitching, mumbling. "I don't kill. I mirror. I reflect what you refuse to face." Emma clenched her fists. "What do you want from me?" Silence. Then, truth. And the shard shattered itself to dust. That night, Emma drove back to her childhood home, to the attic she carried the old journal with her, trying to piece together her mother's betrayal. But something had changed in the house. It was colder, angrier. The walls creaked like they were breathing. Emma stepped into the attic. The broken mirror shards now floated mid-air, spinning slowly. You opened the memory. A voice whispered, "Now you must walk it." The attic bent around her. Darkness surged. And then she wasn't in the attic anymore. She stood in a small bedroom, unfamiliar and familiar all at once. A little girl sat in the corner, holding a cracked doll. Emma asked. The girl didn't respond. From behind Emma, another girl entered. Her mother. As a child, Emma realized what this was. A memory. Her mother knelt beside young Naraya. "Don't tell anyone what you saw in the mirror." "But she was crying," Naraya said. "She said she was me." Little Emma's mother looked terrified. "Then don't look again, ever." The scene flickered. Now, the house was burning. Emma watched her grandmother shouting incantations, dragging Naraya toward a mirror covered in runes. Naraya screamed, "I'm not the one." It was her. Her mother whispered, "It's the only way." The mirror pulsed, the eye symbol burned, and Naraya was thrown. Inside, sealed, trapped, silenced, betrayed. Emma gasped. This was never about an evil spirit. It was about revenge. The attic snapped back into place. Emma collapsed. Her head pounded. She stared at the broken mirror and whispered, "You weren't the curse." The air shifted. The mirror shimmered and formed Naraya's adult face. Hollow eyes, shaking lips, rage and sorrow. "I screamed," Naraya whispered, "and no one listened." Emma nodded slowly. "You were sacrificed to protect someone else." Naraya stepped forward in the glass. "And now, I show others what they truly are." Emma whispered, "You reflect guilt. You reflect secrets." The mirror pulsed. Naraya smiled, cold and broken. "I reflect the truth." That night, Emma made a choice. She'd stop running. She'd stop sealing. She'd confront. One by one, she returned to every cursed mirror she'd heard of. Old homes, hospitals, schools, churches, and gathered the shards. Some mirrors resisted. Some bled. One cracked open and spilled moths. Emma kept going. By the end of the week, she had 31 shards, each humming with trapped memories. She took them back to her house, laid them in a circle in the attic, and lit the candles. The ritual wasn't from a book. It came from instinct, from blood memory. Emma whispered every name of every person Naraya had mirrored. Caleb, June, Marla, Dr. Winslow, Father Harlan. With each name a shard floated. The attic filled with cries, screams, weeping. Emma didn't stop. "Naraya," she said last, "I see you." The mirror shards merged mid-air, forming a swirling oval dot inside it. Naraya whole. But something was wrong. Behind her stood dozens of other faces, twisted, reflective, silent, not victims' reflections. Reya spoke. "You thought this was my curse alone." Emma whispered, "What are they?" Naraya turned. "They are what I created." Every time someone saw the truth, a version of them stayed behind, twisted, watching, waiting. Emma stepped back. "You're not a ghost. You're a mirror world." Naraya nodded. And smiled. "You can't break a mirror when the reflection is real." Suddenly, the candles blew out. The attic trembled. The mirror surged forward, and Emma was pulled in. Inside the mirror world, everything looked familiar but wrong. Upside-down crosses, children with mouths sewn shut, mirrors as windows, doors, eyes. Emma walked through a hallway lined with versions of herself, one crying, one laughing, one with a slit throat. one whispering, "We were you. You left us." At the end of the hall, Naraya stood beside a new mirror, blank. "It's time," she said. Emma shook. "Time for what?" "To decide," Naraya whispered. "Become the mirror, or shatter it." Emma looked into the final mirror. She saw her mother, then Naraya, then herself, not crying, not scared, but silent, alone, trapped. She understood. The curse only lives if someone refuses to accept what they did. But if someone faces it, truly it breaks. Emma whispered. "I'm sorry." Naraya's face softened, just for a second. Then, too late. The mirror cracked. Emma screamed, and everything went dark. She woke up in the attic, alone, shards scattered, but the humming had stopped. The house was quiet. The mirror was gone. Had she won? Emma stood slowly, looked around. Every surface was clear. No voices, no whispers. She smiled, until she caught her reflection in the attic window. It blinked. She didn't. The final reflection, the reflection, blinked again. Emma didn't. She stood frozen, watching her mirrored self smile. Not a kind smile, not even cruel, just knowing. Her breath caught in her throat. "No," she whispered. "I brought it to an end. I broke the curse." Her reflection tilted its head and mouthed back. "You opened the door." Then it turned and walked away inside the glass. But Emma was still standing still. Outside. Left behind. Emma raced down the attic stairs, her body stiff with a coldness she couldn't shake. She opened the front door to let air in, but outside wasn't outside anymore. It was all mirrors, trees, with reflective bark, clouds made of rippling glass, a sky of shifting silver. She slammed the door shut. Her house had moved, or rather, the world had shifted. She was inside the mirror, or was everything else? Emma stumbled into the living room. The TV turned on, by itself. Static. Then a video began playing, grainy old footage. It was her mother, younger, terrified, whispering to someone off camera. "If you're watching this, I didn't stop it. I failed." Her mother turned to the camera, crying. She wasn't evil, Emma. She was hurt, and we made her a monster. A long pause. "I see her sometimes, in the mirror, watching me sleep." Then the screen went black. Emma fell to her knees. She opened her journal again, the one her mother left her. At the back, written in smeared ink, were the final lines. "It wasn't the mirror that cursed us. It was the lie. The mirror only shows what we bury, and we buried too much. I'm sorry, Naraya. I'm sorry, Emma." Emma's hand trembled as she traced the letters. Then a drop of blood fell onto the page. From nowhere she looked up. On the wall was a message, smeared in red. "You're one of us now." Suddenly, a crashing sound came from the kitchen. Emma ran, heart hammering. There, on the floor, was a new mirror freshly appeared, slick with condensation. Inside it, her mother. Alive. Sobbing. Double quotes. "Emma, please," her mother begged. "You can still leave, but you have to destroy the house." Emma shouted back, "How? I don't know how to break the mirror world." Her mother screamed, "Burn what was buried. Tell the truth." Then her mouth stitched shut with invisible thread. Her skin turned gray. She froze and shattered. Emma now knew what she had to do. It wasn't about destroying Naraya. It was about ending the cycle, and that meant confessing. Emma went to the basement, the one place she hadn't dared enter since she returned. There, behind a wall panel, she found it, a mirror with the family crest carved into the edges, and inside it, Naraya. But this time she looked different, not twisted, just tired. "Naraya," Emma said gently, "I'm sorry for what they did." Naraya looked up. "You saw it all. You know the truth." Emma nodded. "They trapped you because you were the wrong daughter." Naraya nodded. "They feared what I'd become, so they made me become it." Emma stepped closer. "You said I had a choice." Naraya's expression hardened. "You still do. Join me, or free me." Emma asked, "How do I free you?" Naraya reached through the glass. And placed a hand over Emma's chest. "You carry the guilt now, all of it. Burn it, all of it." Suddenly, Emma was holding a matchbox. She climbed to the attic again, now covered in reflective dust, fragments of hundreds of faces. Emma opened the journal, the family's secrets, the betrayals, the rituals, her mother's final words. She poured oil over it, over the mirror shards, over the cracked frame. Then struck a match, and whispered, "I forgive you, Naraya, and I forgive her, too." The flame caught. The house screamed, not just the walls but the air itself, as the attic blazed. Emma felt something unravel inside her. Memories not her own. Children staring into mirrors, begging for help. Women locked in rooms with only their reflections. Men hearing voices whispering in silver. She whispered, "It ends with me." The mirror behind her shattered with a deafening scream. The fire spread, fast and angry. Emma ran down the stairs, the house collapsing around her. She reached the front door, twisted the handle and stepped into darkness. For a moment, nothing, no air, no light, no pain. Then, a breeze, a bird chirping, a real sky above. Emma opened her eyes. She was lying on grass outside the house, gone. Only a crater remained, scattered with ash and glass. She stood up, breathed in. It was over, but some part of her knew not everything had burned that night. Emma stayed in a motel off the highway. The room had no mirrors. She made sure of that, but as she lay in bed, she saw something on the TV screen when it was off. Not her reflection, her mother, then Narration, then herself. Smiling, but she wasn't smiling. Emma reached for her phone and turned on the front camera. Nothing strange, just her, tired, alive, but at the corner of the frame, the attic window, even though the house was gone, and written across the screen, in reversed letters, "Some reflections never fade. The end."